Well, good morning and welcome to Real WW Chat. I'm Erin.
And I'm Candace.
And I'm Ricky.
So if you're brand new to watching us, we're just three friends who met in the WW studio and formed a bond. And every week after our studio meeting, we'd hang out in the room and chat until we got kicked out. And then we continue the conversation in the parking lot. But now that COVID is happening and a lot of the studios have returned back, we're still doing our online meetings and still having our meeting afterwards. So you get to join in and be part of it because we all like to hear other people's thoughts about their WW journey too.
So we like to overanalyze everything.
Now, Candace, you said last week that we were all supposed to come back to bringing our mugs and what we were drinking along with our talk. Oh, well, I should do it this way. Branding here. Positive hits. Fill me up. Old logo. We got a new logo, but
I like it.
I've got a pumpkin spice oat milk latte.
Ooh. Mine is just an iced caramel latte.
And I made the suggestion and don't have my mug, but I'm going to have a kombucha because I love kombucha. It's not in a mug, but it's in a bottle. And I will definitely.
Which kombucha brand do you like? Because there are a couple different.
So, purely for monetary reasons, because kombucha can be a little expensive if you go to the store. So Costco has their own brand, the Kirkland Ginger Lemonade kombucha, and you get 12 in a pack for and my husband loves them too, so we drink one a day, and it's a pretty good flavor, not too much sugar, because sometimes they add sugar to certain brands to make it kind of palatable, because some people don't like the taste of kombucha. I love it. I love how it tastes, but others don't really love it.
When you gotta find the right one, because some of them taste like vinegar and other ones taste almost have like a wine.
Yeah.
Synergy is a good brand. I mean, they have like a strawberry one, and
that's good.
Yeah. So I'm a fan. My husband got me turned on to them years ago, and I'll tell you, when I was pregnant, I missed my kombucha because you're not really supposed to drink kombucha because it has like trace alcohol or whatever. But anyway, that's what I would have had while you are having your yummy drinks. So I will be prepared next week.
So last week when we left off, we were talking about motivation and willpower and what happens when maybe things get in the way of that. Like we've got the perfect plan starting out the week and then something goes haywire. And last week, Candace, I mean, you got some really difficult news that kind of, set all of your plans up in the air for the week. And so it's then how do you kind of get yourself grounded again, right? And so I think what we just came down to is just you've got to do it. At some point, you've got to go, okay, this is where it was, and now we're moving forward. So how did last week change for you? Did it change for you?
It did. This week, I think that I had the same challenge because I think that that's how life is. I think sometimes when you're given something to work on and you don't quite master it, you see it again. So I saw it again this week where kind of midweek had some things come up. It was more that I was so busy. And I think everybody can relate to that. When you get so busy and you forget to bring your lunch and you're at work and then you have to like eat out. So stuff like that happened. And some of the choices I made weren't ones that I necessarily was proud of. And I had an opportunity to make a decision to keep it going for the week or not. And I did make a different choice this week. So I was proud of that, to be able to kind of, suck it up and say, it's not really about, you can analyze your feelings all you want to, but sometimes you just need to do what you need to do. So I did get back on track. And as I love my step bets, and my anniversary was on Wednesday. So we had gone out and I told Ricky we had indulged a bit, but I said, it's over. It's over now. And I got my step bet and I've been walking and doing all that to try to move. And movement is so important. It's so pretty. I love the color. And they have all these bands, but it made me, the movement helped me get back on track, because I tried to change my mindset to say action is what turns it around, not wanting to act. So, and I think we talked about that weeks ago. So I said, it doesn't matter if I feel like walking, let me walk. And then later on, the motivation will come. So we'll talk a little bit more about that today, but that really helped me.
Yeah.
I'm literally what you just said. I'm putting this up on the screen right now because Action is what turns it around, not wanting to act. I think the want is great because that's a great place to start, right? It's the thing that gets us going. But you're totally right. Like you can have the best intentions in the world, but unless you're actually living out your intentions, then it's just a really nice thought.
It's a nice thought.
It's the same thing as what, one of our former leaders, Heather, used to say, feet first and your head will follow. Yeah. And I think that especially with activity, but I think it's a lot harder with food, but especially with activity, there are days where I'm sure everyone feels like this. I don't want to go out and do that walk. I don't want to go do my exercise. I don't want to turn on the TV and do a video or whatever it is. It's raining, so that's my excuse. I don't have to go. But if I just do it, if I just put my feet first into those steps, my head will follow and I will be happy that I did it. I'm never going to be like, oh man, I regret those 30 minutes that I took for myself to go for a walk. Nobody says that. Like we're always happy that we did it. And I think that's not only how our head follows, I think our head also follows by being a little bit more excited to do it again the next time.
And Ricky, I mean, you've taken that to heart and you've done it because you've got a pretty big milestone, right?
Yeah. So I got the Peloton bike in the beginning of the pandemic. I got it and it arrived in May. And I am celebrating 100 rides today. So I'm going to, at 9:30, I'm going to go take a class with Tunde. It's a live class. And I'm just excited to celebrate that milestone.
Yay!
That's so awesome.
Thanks. It's definitely not, I think we can always internalize things and put in our head, like when I get to this milestone, I'm going to look like this, or I'm going to have accomplished this. So I think I thought I would have lost a lot more by now. And I think it does reinforce the fact that it's not just one thing. It's not just activity. So that's why I've tried to emphasize the importance of doing measurements, which I need to be honestly better about doing more consistently. But I know that I'm stronger. I know that I'm writing, faster, that I'm doing more. I'm able to just physically feel more fit, even if I'm not at my goal weight or my activity, ultimate activity goals.
Yeah. And I think it also shows like a consistency because I mean, how many times have we bought that exercise bike or that fitness equipment and then you throw clothes on top of it and you're never using it again? Mm-hmm. So 100 is a big deal. Like that's major. So I hope you don't minimize it. It doesn't sound like you are, but I hope you don't minimize the accomplishment because that's major.
No, I think in my mind, I did have, like I think everyone does, an idea of what 100 rides would look like. Some people do this big scene with like balloons in the background that's, spell out 100 and they have, their pose and their cute yoga gear. And I saw myself doing that. It's not that I can't. And I think I need to also get over that. Like, I don't have to be 100 pounds down to do that. It's still an accomplishment. So I still think I will post it because I'm a part of the Peloton Facebook group. And because I hesitated to do that, honestly, because I haven't lost much since then, since May. But I think, again, like you're saying, the consistency is there. And I'm hoping to continue to see like cardiovascular health, just health in general, like improvements. And it goes back to the why and the motivation. Like, why am I doing this in the first place? Why did I get this bike? Not to just have an extra thing, taking up space in my little apartment. And there's a real reason behind it that's beyond appearances.
And I dare say you're a little more motivational, like not trying to, I mean, no diss to anybody else, but I think sometimes seeing someone who is real, and because not everybody is in their yoga pants and their 6-pack abs riding on the Peloton, like to show a person who's like, I might not be exactly where I want to be, but I'm going through it. I'd be more motivated to see that and it would encourage me. So for those who may be looking for that, I think it's important that you share.
I swear, if you don't celebrate that, I'm going to be so mad at you. That's amazing. So like on the topic of with motivation, right? To get to 100 rides, it starts with the first ride. And exactly what Candace says, that's taking consistency. But at some point, during those other 99 rides,
Mhm.
I have no doubt that you probably went, I don't feel like doing this. I've
Oh,
made the
absolutely.
right. So what was your motivation then?
I think it goes back to what Candace said. I just put one foot in front of the other and said, this is something I have to do. I've gone back and forth between I need to do it in the morning. So I sometimes will get up early and do it. And sometimes it's like I can only do a 10-minute ride right now. It's not that I'm not physically able to do more, but I'm not going to get out of bed unless I tell myself that I only have to do 10 minutes. And some days that's all I do. But a lot of times, if I've gotten on that bike and if I have the time before work, I will do a 20, 30-minute class or even longer if I have the time. And it's just, I want to, especially because I am so sedentary now, like working as a teacher before, I was guaranteed at least 6,000 or 7,000 steps, if not more, in a day. And looking at my watch, like yesterday, for example, I did a 30-minute Hamilton ride that they had, and I burned a ton of calories. But by the time I got up from my desk at the end of the day, I had 800 steps. And so like knowing that the potential consequences that could have on my body in the future, just from sitting that much over this prolonged pandemic period of time, I know that at least if I'm getting on that bike consistently, I'm helping my heart and my body.
Something else that I'm hearing you say too, Ricky, is that you didn't have an all or nothing approach. And I think a lot of times, like, I know for me, I'm like, well, if I don't have an hour, then I'm not doing this. I can't do this. Where, like, exactly what you said, I've got 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to do it. And I think that helps build the consistency because you're still keeping yourself in the pattern of doing.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe I kind of see that translate into other things, like that all or nothing mentality. We start to kind of break some of that perfectionism that can come along with, I've got to do the journey this exact way.
And it's funny you say that, Erin. I was just about to say the same thing, because what I picked up on that you said, Ricky, was whether it was 10 minutes or 60, because I'm somebody who can fall victim to perfectionism and deciding that, and you all picked up on it. I'll never forget it a few weeks ago when I said I was going to go for a walk. And I was like, well, I put down, I need to do a 60-minute walk. And you all were like, well, why does it have to be 60? I mean, that's fine. I mean, but why does it have to be 60 to qualify? And I'm like, well, because you go for an hour walk. Like whenever some people talk about walking, they say they're going for an hour walk. No, if you do 10 minutes, if you do, like sometimes you have to break it up. And I really like that you acknowledge that out of those 100 rides, you didn't give a time limit. You weren't like, they were all 30-minute plus rides. They were all this. They all count. They all count, and it counts towards your movement. So that's motivation for me to remember that anything that you do counts towards your goals.
Yes. What you just said, Candace. So yes, anything that you do counts towards your goals. Like, and that to me is a really key thing, because so I'm kind of restarting the journey, right? Like, okay, I'm dedicated. This is consistency. I half tracked this week, which I told you guys as I got to the end of our week. I'm like, you know what? It feels weird to say that I'm half tracking. That's just laziness. I'm paying for the program. I need to full track. And so I started full tracking towards the end of it, but it's like, consistency, right? That's just the big key is how do I am inconsistently consistent. And I need to be fully consistent with what I'm doing, because that's what's going to make the difference. And you can't be mad at the results you don't get by the work that you don't do.
And Erin, I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about, because you shared something in a text. We had seen a video, and not one that we had talked about showing today, but in WW, they give you blue dots on certain days. But we talked about a calendar that shows you, because a lot of times you get frustrated about, we're not losing, I'm not hitting my goals, this isn't happening, why is this person losing faster than I am? And really, when you look at how consistent you've been with following the plan that you've chosen for yourself, or the exercise, or whatever your goal is, you may see that it's only 80% of the time, whereas you're comparing yourself to somebody who's done it 95% of the time. And it's a motivator to say, I can't be upset about results that I get when I'm not doing the work. Like
Mhm.
that's kind of you can't go to school, like they said, you can't go to school and put in 50% of the effort and expect an A and
Mhm.
expect it. It just is, it's nonsensical. But we
Right.
do that. We do that. So I didn't know if you wanted to say a little bit more. I know I kind of glossed
I
over.
love no, that's great, Candace. Because it goes back to our exercise man.
Mhm.
Ryan Fitness. And he had a really great suggestion that we all just kind of went, okay. But he talked about having a calendar and just he has his clients put a red X when they've done every one of their goals so that they can actually have a visual at the end of the month where they go, oh, it's just not working for me. And he's like, well, is it just not working for you or are you not working for it?
Mhm.
Right? There's a big difference. And you've got this visual of the calendar with the red X's.
Mhm.
So for us on Weight Watchers, I mean, that visual would be blue dots, right? Our blue dot challenge, at least the blue dots signify that you've eaten within a certain goal point. But if you're not on Weight Watchers, I mean, that's as simple as getting like MyFitnessPal or some of the other tracking devices where they tell you how close you are to eating according to the goals and your intentions that you set up. Or
for whatever your goal is, whether it's
Right.
exercise or
Right.
right. And even if it's just you grab a calendar from online
Mhm.
and print a sheet off and then just, hang on the back of a door or mirror or whatever and
Mhm.
add check marks.
Yeah.
That I think that's another great step for it. So I need to start using, you know what, here's my struggle with the blue dot challenge is I always feel like I'm landing in perfectionism and that's something I'm trying to escape from. But at the same point, and maybe this is, I just have to kind of flip my mentality on it
Mhm.
from perfectionism to consistency. I
Mhm.
want to consistently see that number as opposed to doing that perfectly.
And
I
that's why I
wonder-
kind of went back to saying don't, for some it may be a blue dot because I
Mhm.
know some people are triggered by the dot. So like I don't like some days I want to eat over that and I don't want it to be that I'm punished by not getting a dot. I think if we were to define for ourselves what does success look like or what is a successful day, is that I meditated, is that I got a nap and then I also drank my water and then I walked for a bit and then I just counted my points. That
Mhm.
might be what I define as a successful day. And
Yeah.
that's what I'm trying to be consistent with because I think that, like you said, Erin, whatever, some people are triggered and I'm one of them. I can be triggered to start to want to be perfect if it's like I have to do exactly everything to get within that dot.
Yep.
So I might modify what works for me. So
Mhm.
I agree. Like, I think, especially even as a Weight Watcher, I think I like the idea of what he was saying in the video, doing that, but making it not just about food, making it, like you guys are saying, about other activities and goals that I have for myself, like the water, like, activity, including all those things, not making it something that's unattainable, but something that I think is measurable and attainable for each day of the week or for a consistent pattern throughout the week. Because I think in the video he had not only X's for the days that he or the client was able to meet all those goals, but O's on the days they didn't. So it's not like a big like red X through a day you didn't do it, but you can also objectively count and have data even to say, 73% of the time this month I was consistent with my goals or I wasn't. And then you could also say, okay, this is, not to take it back to the scale, but this is how close I came to meeting my larger goals, like smaller goals versus the big picture goals could even be more measurable across years if you look at the data from that, from that.
and I think going back to what you're saying is though, what's the reason we're doing it? Right? We're not doing it as a punishment mechanism to say, I can't believe that you didn't hit 31 out of 31 days in the month. It's if you're not pleased with your results and you're starting to question your plan or whatever, be honest with yourself about the effort that you're putting into it. And that can either be motivation to say, okay, I did it 20 times this month. Let me try for 21 next month, just to see if that helps. I mean, because I think that I have to keep that goal in mind because I am that person who wants to hit 31 out of 31 days. I want every day to do it, but I more so want to know why I'm not at, like you said, Ricky, at 100 rides down, whatever weight it is. But it's like, but what else did I not do? Or what else can I do better? So reframing.
I remember in one of our WW meetings, there was a topic too that talked about, how we kind of go quote unquote off track, or we give ourselves permission to go off track at holidays and birthdays and other special occasions. And when you add up all the day and times of that equates to about a third of the year. So you have like a third of the year that you're technically off plan.
Noelle said that.
Was it Noelle? Okay, yeah. So like we love our Noelle.
Yeah.
God bless Noelle. But yeah, so like when you think about that, you're a third off plan. Well, then that's why also you're not hitting your goals, because when you really, I for myself, I get really close to the picture. Sometimes I'm a detail person. I'm a granular person. That's where I live as part of my job. I have to have all of the details straight. If I don't have the details straight, then my train is going to go off the track, and it's going to affect a lot of people, which is, I live there. It's great. That's how God's wired me. The struggle is I don't always pull back to see the full picture of the valley that the train is going through and the tunnel that's ahead and all of those beautiful things, right? And I do the same thing in my journey. I get really, really granular and forget to pull back and look at a big picture like Noelle created for us of, this is a third of your journey. It's off plan. And if you're struggling and feeling like you're not making it, well, double check these things, because they're going to be with you all the time. So how do you want to live through them? And the whole thing about a healthy journey is it's a healthy journey. It's not something that you start and stop. Like, this is life.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was funny. The only reason I remember that Noelle said it is because she said it in the context of going off the rails on the weekends and how we use the weekend to like be off track. And then we're like, we'll be good Monday through Friday, because we have our WW week starts on Saturday. And so people usually can have a struggle with overindulging on Saturday and Sunday. And she was challenging us to treat it like a normal day. Like, why does it have to be that because it's Saturday, I have to eat everything that's not nailed down,
right,
and then do that Sunday. And then I'm only giving myself 5 days in the week to like really rock it, because what she said is a third of your journey or your time in the year, you're not doing what it is that makes you feel good and that makes you successful. For what? And that really hit me, because I'm one of those weekend people where I'm like, it's Saturday. Goodbye. WW talk. Nice to talk to you. Getting ready to go to Starbucks. Get me my stuff. That's me. And then I'm kicking myself on Monday,
Yeah.
So anyway, I just wanted to give that context, because that's where it came from.
No, that's fabulous, because I think that still goes back to like the motivation part of where we stop. We stop on Friday and then we restart on Monday. And even we stop, we get to Christmas and we kind of stop, or, a lot of like the biggest struggle from this point to the end of the year, most people, I think they say, gain 10 pounds. That's the average weight gain, because it starts at Halloween with a Halloween candy, and then it goes through the Thanksgiving and December. And then you just throw it out because you're like, okay, whatever, January 1's coming, and then you restart.
Yeah.
January 1.
And those restarts, it's like, how many times are those true restarts? Like, how many times is it like, oh, I didn't, I really want that cake, or I really want that, bag of chips or whatever it is. I'm going to have it, and then I'll start again tomorrow. I might as well, I've already gained, however much it is. So I think when we give ourselves permission to go off the rails like that, it's so much easier to continue to give ourselves permission to go off the rails even after we've restarted.
Do you guys find that restarts sometimes lead to restriction?
Yes.
Absolutely. And restriction that's unrealistic. Like saying I'm never going to eat a slice of cake again. Like just, and that goes back to like, sometimes I feel like I do have that perfectionism in me, especially when I get to the restart point. I have unrealistic ideas of what I am going to do as far as resetting and how I'm going to get there. And then I almost set myself up for failure, because my goal was unrealistic in the first place.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's why I became addicted to fresh starts. You know, like I was addicted. I love day ones. I love the first of the month. I love New Year. I love all of that because it signifies that I haven't messed up yet. And I start off very restrictive, Erin, what you're saying. Like, I'm like, okay, I'm going to have avocado. And there's a meme that somebody shared. I'll try to find it and post it in the group where it shows the day of a dieter. And it's like, I'm going to have avocado and blueberries and bananas for breakfast. And then for lunch, okay, you know, I had a turkey sandwich. I had one piece of bread. Didn't really mean to do that, but that's okay because I'm still in control. And then for dinner, it's like I had pizza and French fries and this, and I don't care. And next month will be so much better, like next month. And it's like you've already gone to next month. Like you just left. And I can relate to that, though, because you start off restrictive instead of saying, why don't I just do what is normal or comfortable for myself, you know, and make it work in my plan.
Because if I'm consistent, I can still eat that piece of cake with there's no issue eating the piece of cake. And for me, you guys are going to say, I'm trying to do things that lead me to freedom in my mind, right? And if I'm just being consistent, then I'm not beating myself up about eating the piece of cake because I've planned for it. I've incorporated it. Like I know that this is coming and I'm just adjusting as I go. I'm just more like, I'm doing this through the water as opposed to, you know.
Yeah. And that's why I think it resonated with me and Ricky. I'm speaking for Ricky. When you gave the suggestion to say, you know, like plan for those things throughout the week. Like it doesn't have to be, I have to have it on Saturday because Saturday's my day. And then I have 6 days that I can, no, if you want something and you know it's coming up, I'm going to pre-track it. I don't really care. It's not that big of a deal. And we're going to move on.
And even if you don't have something coming up and you're like, you know what, I know that I'm going to want cake this week. Just put it in your tracker because then it takes the forbiddenness out of it. And we all want forbidden fruit more, you know, and if we take the naughtiness away from it, then it's not about hiding anymore. It's not about, you know, kind of sweeping it under the rug. It's just, here's what it is. And I'm going to enjoy it. Yay.
I know the week that I did that, it was a couple weeks ago. I tried it. It was almost like I wanted to give my past self a high five because I got to like Tuesday or Wednesday and I ordered something out, which is a challenge of mine in the evenings. Just not wanting to eat my leftovers over and over again. And I did it. And then I remembered that I had pre-tracked, I think I just automatically pre-tracked a Starbucks like pumpkin loaf because I didn't know what I wanted and I hadn't had that during the day. And it was just an amazing thing, not only to look at my tracker and not have to have the burden feeling of like, okay, I'm going to track this 20, 30, 40 point meal that I just ordered and be in the negative that many points, but to say, hey, I already pre-tracked some of this. I can use this. Then I had dinner points and it wasn't as bad as, you know, I thought it would have been.
You know, Ricky, speaking of the pumpkin loaf, because you shared that Skinny Taste recipe with us, right? Yeah. So I remember what you said about like just trying to plow through that thing the whole weekend because it was so good. And I got a couple slices in. I'm like, I'm going to eat this whole thing. So I sliced it up and I did generous slices because I was like, I appreciate Skinny Taste and like the 12 slices out of it. I think it's 16 slices. And I'm like, 16 slices. Oh, like, forget that.
Blasphemy.
Right. I cut it up into 8 because those are like pumpkin loaf slices. Right. And I think it ended up being like 7 smart points for one of those, which is better than the 16 for whatever Starbucks that I can't eat anyway, but at least made me feel like I had something. But I sandwiched them between parchment paper and I put them in the freezer. And I actually haven't gone back to the freezer to get one out. I should do that this weekend. But like that alone just saved me from eating the entire loaf pan because I would have that weekend. I would have just because I can't let it go to waste. It's also really good. It's sitting on the counter, so it's visual, and I don't want it to go to waste.
Yeah, because you're not a bad person, because who would let that go to waste?
Right, exactly. There are children starving in Africa.
Yeah, because that's not really appropriate. So
this is for the children. Okay, so let's wrap ourselves up here. Goals for this week.
My goal
Nobody-
is to make it through the weekend, and to do to treat Saturday and Sunday like a normal day,
Mhm.
because that makes me feel good. And to not, I don't have anything that I feel particularly that I need to plan for this weekend. It's kind of like a blah one.
Mhm.
And so I want to just treat it like I would treat any other day, because I don't have a need to do differently.
Awesome. My goal would be to, when I'm having those desires to eat something that's more points than I would typically need to have for a meal, or not to say that, again, with restrictions that I have to restrict myself, but if I'm having that desire or craving to have something that's a lot of points, that I would take that 20 minutes. I forgot who, I think Candace, you were talking about the 20 minutes, and I forgot what you were referencing. Um,
I think it was our guy again, Syed,
Right.
who was talking.
of course,
Yeah.
it's always him.
But he had talked about if you take 20 minutes, if you want to binge, like
Yeah.
if you want to eat something, he was like, absolutely you can. Absolutely you can. Do it in 20 minutes. And then if at 20 minutes you don't want it, you find you don't want it, don't eat it. But if you want it, eat it. And he said, like, it's pretty effective that after 20 minutes, especially if it's an impulse, the desire for it will have dissipated.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's my goal. Just with regular cravings, even if it isn't necessarily a craving to binge something, just to take that 20 minutes to really, like a lot of times I think it's thirst, like I'm thirsty, or I'm frustrated, like it's emotional. I am frustrated about something. There's plenty to be frustrated about right now in the world and in life. So just taking those 20 minutes, a lot can happen. I can get distracted and be playing a game on my phone, and like 30 minutes has gone by and I'm not hungry. So I really want to focus on that strategy this week.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me, well, one, I want to continue to make like one new recipe a week. And so we did make the apple braised chicken from WW, which is a public recipe, by the way, because I found the public link for it. So that is delicious. My family, my parents that I made it for actually liked it. They said I could make it again.
Did
So,
your nephew like it though? Did he try it?
He did not. He didn't. I have not made that for him yet. He's still pretty much on Dino Nuggets and French fries. But he is trying one new thing, and he'll tell us how much he wants to try it, because he'll say, I try with my lips, not my tongue. Okay. That's to his lips, and he ties it with his lips, and I go. And then if he wants more, then he'll actually put it in and try it with his tongue. But I love that definition of, I'll try it with my lips, not my tongue. I should probably do it that way.
I think that should be a quote at the bottom. You're gonna try something new.
But my other thing, like Ricky, what you were saying about when you get up from your desk and you only have 800 steps, that's 100% me too. And so this past week I was like, I've got to get up and move more. And I did put a link to a 5-minute stretch routine in the group, which, by the way, if you're not in our group, you can find us. WW Real Talk is our Facebook group. It's a private group, and you are certainly welcome to join whether you're on WW or not. But so this week I'm going to focus more on getting some more of the activity and the steps in. So no, I'm not ready to join the step bet yet, because I don't feel consistent enough yet to do it.
Yeah. I'm just only consistent because I'm so motivated by not losing money. Something about that. When they made me, like God made me, he was like, you know what? That's step bets for her, because if she could lose money, she will move mountains to move.
Tell everyone what step bet is.
Yeah.
Tell everyone what it is, Candace.
So step bet is there's an app, and you set a step goal based on your historical data. So for those of you who are worried, like it's going to make me do an astronomical amount of steps, it's not what it is. But it's like a challenge where you put in a nominal entry fee. It's usually anywhere from $20 to $40, and everybody contributes to this, and it's in a big pot. And for 6 weeks, you have to hit a certain number of step goals. So like you have a minimum goal. My minimum goal is 7,000 steps a day. And my stretch goal, you have 2 days, you have to hit a stretch goal. And the stretch goal is 10,000 steps for me based on my historical data. And if I do that, at the end of the 6 weeks, everybody who has hit their goals splits the pot. So you get what your entry fee plus whoever dropped out or didn't hit their goals, you get to split their money. So you may have put in $40, but like my last step bet, I left with 46 because of maybe 200 people dropped out. So it's a nice little motivator because you're like, I put in $40 and I don't want to lose my $40 because I couldn't get 7,000 steps. I better walk around and clean this house. So for me, that works. And that you can start, you don't have to do a certain number of step bets at a time. You can do just one. And there's ones that you can join locally. So yeah, I really enjoy it. And it's something I found a few years ago. And it's been a great motivator for me to move. So
I loved it. They all made fun of me in the WW meetings, or well, at the time it was called the WW meetings for it. And then other people started joining in. I'm like,
because it's the only time that you can be like, that kind of facetious when someone says they didn't hit their goal. You're like, oh, you didn't hit your step goal and you lost your money. I'll take it, but you can do better next time.
Yep. Don't give up, accepted a step back.
Give me your money. So yeah, that's my favorite. It's my favorite thing recently.
Well, ladies, as always, it's good chatting with you.
Yes.
And I wish everyone a very happy week, a good week, and an on-plan weekend, because this is just real life, not a special occasion.
Yeah.
It just is what it is. And it's a beautiful day, a sunshiny day.
Yeah.
Risk.
Because yesterday was nasty. I don't, for those who are local, it was really dreary. I'm looking forward to some sunshine.
Yes.
Some sunshine.
Yes. All right. Well, have a great week. And by the way, we'd love to hear from you too. If you want to drop your goals into the comments, and as always, join us over on the WW Real Talk Facebook group so that we can encourage one another. Have a great weekend.
Bye.
Bye.